Yo, what's up? This is the professor. Today I'm gonna talk about my out of body experience. And I'm not 30, it happened when I was in my 20s, I think 28 or 29. And my energy was really high, tense. I think most yogis who leave their body, they kind of tense their energy. So it's kind of my energy was very tense and I was just feeling like in a different dimension. I took some tea and I couldn't feel the effect, but I knew I was really tense. So I went to sleep and boom, I woke up in a different place. So I wasn't nobody or anything. I was just a speck of light, like golden diamond light. It's kind of mostly diamond, but speckles of like white or diamond. So it's kind of almost like a diamond, golden light. Let me just call it a golden light, but I couldn't describe it. It's very beautiful. So I was this speckle of golden diamond, just diamond light. Part of this really vast other lights, which I get the information that there were other souls, and I was just constantly moving through this vast place with lots of light, and we're all connected. Part of this source, whatever people call it, God, is just I didn't know where the source was. It was just everywhere, and all these lights felt connected to everything, all the lights and sailing through this dark kind of like background, right? It's a dark. I was on top of this dark like the day and night were all together, so but I was light speckles, I could see other lights and I was feeling all this bliss and I was just sailing through all these seeing all these lights, and with this kind of like dark background and it's all connected and I was this light and seeing all these speckles of lights and I didn't know where the source was, but it was just everything. All the lights and the dark were all alive and all connected, and I was getting this information from everywhere and I was just exploring the non-physical universe and just seeing all these beautiful speckles of golden lights and white speckles and all that, and just all kind of lights. Like I couldn't even explain the light, so I was just constantly moving and just exploring, and I forgot I was on Earth or anything. I was family or whatever. I didn't think of that. I was just in a different place. I was just connected to that realm, and I forgot about everything else. I was just there. Yeah, all I knew was I was out of the body. And just constantly moving and everything, all the lights and the dark were all alive and I was constantly moving. The only thing that wasn't moving was just the darkness, but all the lights were just moving in different kind of lights, which I get the information they were also other souls or and all part of the one source that's other people call it God or the universal source of life or the universal God or whatever people call it. Just part of the source and they're all kind of moving, and only the darkness wasn't moving, but the light, all the lights were just moving, and I was exploring, seeing more lights, small lights, big lights, and all kind of lights, and everything was alive, So I was just constantly moving, So I had to just add this there. So it's hard. I can never describe it with words. You have to just be there to experience it. Because I'm not saying you go there now, but after 120 years, and there's so many realms. I can't say where someone will go, but it just shows that there's life in everything, Even in nothingness, there's life, Even the darkness had life, And doesn't mean it was negative or positive. It just felt positive. It felt I was just blissful, and my body was just sparkling and golden light and all that and white speckle. I just looked at myself. I could see myself on other lights, and my body was just this light, just moving, golden light moving through the universe and speckles. And I felt bigger, and I was connected to everything. I was just sailing through, and it was just beautiful. And I can't even explain the bliss and the love I felt there. It's not here. And I woke up with a bit of, that's why I knew it was not a dream. Even when I woke up, I could feel a bit of the energy still. When I woke up, I could feel the bliss. So not like when I was there, but I felt a little bit of it when I woke up. So I was just sailing through the universe. It's just crazy. I was this light just non-stop moving. So that was my light body, and it was just an interesting place. I felt I didn't think about Earth, family, whatever. I was just there. I just knew I was out of the body. It's hard to describe. You have to be there to know. So there's so many dimensions out there, but in this dimension, it's hard to describe it. So I had this there. It's very beautiful. So my body was this golden light with a bit of white speckles on it, just floating, and then there were millions of other lights, even so many I couldn't count, and I was feeling blissful, and I couldn't feel this love, and they were just this. So everybody was just this light, part of this light. So some people who have near-death experience, some may go through a dark tunnel, but it's kind of a transition tunnel, because if you don't feel anything negative, then it's not a bad. Dark doesn't mean bad unless you feel something negative about it. Like we have dark day and night, right? That doesn't mean night is bad unless the energy of it is bad, So it doesn't matter what it is, but if the energy is negative, then it's associated with something evil. But if it's not, then it's not. So other people transition through the dark light, then they reach the light. Others never reach to the light part. Others go through the tunnel and see the light, but they never reach enough of the light, then they become the light itself. So I knew I was out of the body. Just the information just comes to your head. I never had a dream like that before, like that I'm a speck of light in space, and just like in outer space, in non-physical world. And so I was this speck of light just in space, and other speck of lights which were also there, and I was all knowing and everything. And so I clearly knew I was out of the body. And so that before I was meditating, and I had that really longing to see what happens when people die, and to go to the non-physical, and boom, that happened, because I was really tense. So it's, of course, if your body is okay, then you come back to the body, because the body is not damaged or anything. That's why those people come back. But if it is damaged, then people continue to live on, and there's many other dimensions. I don't know how many. Other people talk about meeting family members. Maybe that's slightly above the dream level, where they can meet people kind of like not physical, but they can see themselves as humans, just like in a dream. So that's another dimension. Then I think the light part is where it's one of the highest realms. So I was a speck of light, and I wrote this in my book, and I even didn't describe it well. The light is beautiful, golden and white speckles, and there was also, I was the light and other lights, and I was seeing this. So I was moving through this dark. It was dark, but everybody was light. So the darkness and the light were happening at the same time. Not like now you have day and night. Everything was happening at the same time, and so it's more like the light was alive. People were alive, different spirits, and then but they're all connected as one, part of this big source, what people can call it God or whatever. And then the darkness is just not alive. It's just people sailing through, and so it makes the light even appear more beautiful and bright. So day and night is one, and everybody's a speck of light, and it's a beautiful place, and everything not physical, and you feel all connected, and all these thoughts come into your head, and you can communicate telepathically, and I just knew I was out of the body. The information just came, everything I thought, the answer just came. And many people had out of body experience report the same. So it's having a glimpse to what what happens when people die, because they become non-physical and they become part of the light, and so having a light body, so it's a different realm, and there's so other dimensions. I can't say I know everything. So people also had other body experience talk about the same thing, and others may go through the dark tunnel and freak out, but I never went through the dark tunnel. I went straight, and I was a speck of light. Other people see the light and then they go towards it. Other people say be afraid of the light because it may be a trick for you to reincarnate back. I think those are lies. It's if your time is up, it's up. If you have experienced life and you move on to other dimensions, you also experience life in those dimensions. So our consciousness doesn't want to be stuck in a body forever. It wants to move on. So people move on and continue to live other dimensions, and just basic any human being who has had time and just normal life, family, romance, travel, whatever. Just normal life. If someone has lived their life and they may have a family or not, but they have lived their life and kind of enough to move on, So it's so I'm not kind of reincarnation. People see like people are just coming back without their permission, but I think other spirits like ghosts who get stuck, they have attachments, and when they burn out those desires, they go on to other realms and continue to live on. So possibly reaching 30 is like after having my enlightenment around. It's just a realization, and it's more like they say spiritually homesick, where you feel like, you know what, I want to also experience other dimensions, like, okay, not just the physical, and that's when, and if you're lucky enough, you get those experiences while you're out of the body. So it's interesting, people say what happens when people die when there may be nothing, but in nothingness, there's still life in it. So when if someone is completely not physical, everything has life, like in the Bible they said there was darkness. That meant it was evil. And then the light came. So the dark is the first, then the light came second. So it's dark is not, I don't associate with negative anymore. So unless the energy is bad about it, so it's not about what kind of light it is, but what energy is with it. So it's different other dimensions, but the light is one of the highest dimensions, and some people just see the light, others become, when you become the light, that's when you're close to it. And so I was more of a bigger being up there. You're connected to everything, and I was this golden light with white speckles. I mean, just different, just like colors combined together, but it looks golden, and a bit of sparkly diamonds white, and it's just, I can't explain the light. I can't say what it was, but it's just, and all other lights around, and I just knew it was other souls, and I knew I was out of the body. I never had a dream like that. And my energy was so tense at that time. So it's now I managed to balance my energy, and yeah. So having that experience kind of changed me, So and it's more of when everything on earth becomes repetitive, it's the same things, right? People grow, all this, that, and get a job. Others may become rich, you still have something to do, and have a family, a bit of romance, whatever, travel. Others may not like traveling. Whatever people want to do is like, everybody has a different ambition, So when people burn out what they want to do on this planet, they move on and then they continue. Some few gods maybe they are attached. When they burn out their desires, they move on. So it's only the physical is stuck here, but in this spiritual, people decide to move on, and there's so many other dimensions that it's so beautiful up there that someone will want to move on. So I don't think I on the right mind. I didn't want to come back, but it's not my time, so I had to come back to the body, and it's all. So I just had to share this and all the experience I've been through. I wrote in my book. I couldn't really describe it well, but I listen to other people now talking about the dark void and the light and all that, and so it's. When someone just stops in the dark, they just get scared because there's nothing there, just nothingness. And then when you go to the light, then you become the light, and you feel a bliss and a oneness, and realize it's a different dimension. So it's when I see people near death experience, I can relate to it, and someone doesn't have to die to go out of the body. It's just the energy tenseness of the body. Someone can make their body so tense, or some people with old age, the energy goes so limbo down that they leave the body. Others, some yogis make the energy so tense and they leave. And if the body is still well, with someone, the spirit is not that time, they can still come back. So it's something that many people. So when, of course, you're non-physical, and other people may talk about, oh, I saw Jesus, I saw what, like everything that's in your mind that you're programmed, you can project it. That's like a level that above the dream world, right? They can project. If they thought they want to see Jesus, someone would appear and they think that's Jesus, whatever it is, So it's I think God is just not. Jesus had their time. Buddha had their time. They're just people like me. They had other gifts. That's the reality of it. People say, "Oh, God." You become God when you reach a certain dimension. Now you're one with God. Of course, that's someone say, "Oh, he's a God," whatever. But he was just a human being who lived the planet, and you cannot say God has one son and you have three children. So God is everything. Physical, non-physical, everything is God. And He's the Creator, no beginning, no end. So we should limit God to just religion and everything. It's just everything, that is physical and non-physical. Everything manifests from God Himself. I think that's the highest you can put it. So it's different. It doesn't matter what you know. It's just, are you a good person? If your energy is positive, you go to the positive realms. If it is negative, you go to the dark. It's not even dark, but you just go to the realm which is also negative. And when you learn your lessons, then you can move on to the other higher realms. So it's uniqueness. So I don't have anything wrong with religion or anything, but God doesn't have a religion. It's just clear. So even Jesus didn't have it. So it's not even Jesus and the Buddhas and whatever. They live their lives. Now it's your time. You know what I mean? And it's our time now to live and live it to the fullest, and always don't think you're gonna be here forever. It's doing the things that you can do and not postponing things when you have to do them. And spending time with family and everything like that. So and it's good to appreciate things on this earth and be appreciative of it. And when your time is up, you'll be happy to move on to other realms. So it's so it doesn't matter if someone has a religion or not, if you know Jesus or Buddha or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all about, have you built. You're just a normal person who just, anybody who's good with a good intentions just to live life normally, they will of course go to the positive realms. And someone who's dark and killing people, whatever, they go to the, for no reason or whatever, they will go to the dark realms until they learn their lesson. Others even have a life review and never reach that level, but and then they're able to feel the weight of the actions. But any decent person is just gonna go to the other realms, who is just a normal good person with good intentions. Everybody make mistakes, they fix it and then they move on. So it's that's the main thing. Even the Bible says according to what you have done. So I don't think people are just gonna be stuck in hell forever. If they learn their lessons, they move on. And others who haven't done anything so dark, just normal life, and like sinners who are not intending to hurt other people, of course they'll move on to the higher realms. So even in this world or in the spiritual world, people are able to feel their actions and move on. Everybody learn from their mistakes and move on. So it's unless the spirit that's so dark that they want to be in a dark realm, then they'll be stuck there. So until they get sick of it, and they have to learn their lessons and move on. So it's you're in control of your future and you control of everything. Everything is in your hands. It may not seem that way because everything is now like you have to get a job, whatever. It's like in somebody's hands, but when you're in the non-physical, everything is in our hands, and it's up to us to. It's just that your vibration will take you straight. I couldn't say I don't want to go to the light. I don't want to. It just happens automatically. You're just part of it. So you're a light and you're part of it. So that's what I have to say. So it's nobody that's perfect, but God is not gonna be bribed. I know Jesus, I know Buddha, and I can go to heaven. Nah, it's okay to follow example of people who you admire. But now it's your time to do your best, leave a legacy, whatever, and move on. But we are just a sparkle in the universe. It's a vast universe out there, and it's non-physical, physical, and God is bigger than we can ever even comprehend. That's the true God, and the true universal God, or the universe is the source of life, is way beyond we can ever think. So I think when we go to the non-physical now, we can get that knowledge from. I feel most matter you can get the knowledge straight from God when you're in the non-physical. Yeah, we get a little bit, and so part of our biggest self is up there. That's why sometimes when we go to dream world, we reconnect with ourselves. So part of our biggest self is up there. Yeah, it's just a little bit of ourselves, So when you go to non-physical, you become bigger part of everything. So it's So that was a good, interesting revelation, and so it's all about having fun in life safely and taking care of yourself and being responsible and having good intentions and fixing your mistakes and moving on. And I think that's the main thing that if we can do it in this world which is so dysfunctional, then that shows that our vibration is high, that we can go to the higher realms. And those who don't do that, then they have to learn their lessons and then they can move to the higher realms. Some may have to reincarnate and then learn their lessons until they reach a positive vibration. They can reach the higher round, or they'll be stuck in the other rounds of negativity in the non-physical. So it's all about moving on. And I think one person said one thing interesting. He said there are people who went to heaven, and then some were dancing too much, and then the angels were like, "Why are you dancing too much?" And then they were like, "Did you go on earth? Do you see how the earth was? Do you know how much pain it is on earth and so many things going on? That here is we're blissful. We just have to sail around, and we're all non-physical, and we're enjoying. We are part of God, and even here we are part of God. But I'm just saying the world is up and down, and all that. So we learn to appreciate the other realms more because we've been on earth, So, and even I didn't remember that I was on earth, being up there. I was just part of everything, and I was getting these thoughts and learning where I was and everything before I even thought of it. It's like that source of life or whatever you call it, God or the universal God, was just speaking to me. And so I didn't even think of family, whatever. I was just part of it. It's just like I went to a different realm. I was part of it. I forgot about everything on earth. I was just focusing on exploring what was there. It's just like how we cut down here, we explore what is here. So that's how I was completely disconnected, and the other people who may have live reviews, others may see loved ones, that's a different realm too. So everybody has their lessons to learn, and then they move on or they come back. So it's all about your core spirit. Your core spirit determines to where you go, and your core. So, and when it's your time to go to the higher realms, you go there, and if it's your time to come back, you come back. So everything, I think the source of life determines everything, and when you reach there, you're able to know more. And so it's so when you are there, you will know you're there because the information will come to you automatically. And so it's interesting, So the Jesus and the Buddhas have lived their life and all that, and many other people. Now it's your time to, like sports, and you have 80 to 120 years, and it's time to play the game and live life to the full, safely. And it doesn't matter how much. One person said, it doesn't matter how long you live, but it's the life in your years that matters. You can live 100 years in a corner, or you can live it's kind of hot in path. You can live a life full of adventure and all that. Is all your choice. So it's not how long you live, but it's the life in your years that matters, and the life in your years, and having good intentions and learning from your mistakes. So anyway, Professor 160, I don't want to make this long. Happy New Year, and I had to just give this information. I don't want to forget about it. And so getting to, when you're still starting off, you get attached to, you want to experience all that. But reaching now, I'm 30, is like it's now repeating everything all over again. So it's in a good space to be when you have lived your life and explored and safely and with good intention and learn from your mistakes. That's why we stay here temporarily and move on to other rounds, because everything becomes repetitive, and when you know everything's repetitive, that's when your spirit can move on. So it's what they say, the truth sets you free, right? What you know will open you to new possibilities, and so I was gonna say something, but I forgot about it. So it's an interesting thing, and it's a beautiful thing that we move on to explore other realms too, so even, so it's, thanks for watching. I think I have to stop there, and peace. Happy New Year.